Hello, mystics. Welcome to Glamour Magic. Since its inception in the 1700s, glamour has always been considered to be a kind of spell. The best way to describe this is through one of my favorite stories about Marilyn Monroe. This account comes from Amy Green, the wife of Marilyn's personal photographer. Quote, "I will never forget the day when Marilyn and I were walking around the city, just having a stroll on a nice day. She loved New York because no one bothered her there like they did in Hollywood. She could put on her plain Jane clothes and no one would even notice her, and she loved that. So as we were walking down Broadway, she turns to me and says, 'Do you want to see me become her?' I didn't know what she meant, but I just said yes, and then I saw it. I don't know how to explain what she did because it was so very subtle, but she turned on something within herself that was almost like magic. And suddenly cars were slowing down and people were turning their heads. They were recognizing that this was Marilyn Monroe, as if she pulled off a mask or something, even though a second ago nobody had noticed her." End quote. Glamour is the impression and appearance of beauty that is luxurious, elegant, and creating an impression that intensifies reality. Mind you, that glamours are not actual physical changes, but rather they are controlled and directed projections. It is a way to put forth traits or features that you wish to be seen as dominant, noticeable, so that they become part of the first and lasting impression. A person, event, location, or product, such as a piece of clothing, jewelry, or makeup, can be glamorous or have glamour added to it. We call this a glamour. Glamour is a performance. It is a creation, a recipe. Glamour is elegance minus restraint. Glamour is romance plus distance. And glamour is sparkle sans naivete. Before we dive into how to make your own glamours, let's talk about glamour, originally referred to as a magic spell that was an illusion said to be casted by witches in the 1700s. In 1720, glamour, spelled Glamer, was a sort of spell that would affect the eyesight of those afflicted, making objects appear different than they actually were. Sir Walter Scott angelicized the word and brought it into popular use through his poetry. Quote, "You may bethink you of the spell of that sly urchin page. This to his lord did impart, and made him seem by glamour art a knight from hermitage." Not long after his death in 1832, the word began to be used to describe a metaphorical spell that we cast upon one another by being particularly beautiful or fascinating. But understand, glamour was not necessarily a compliment until the 1920s, where women started dressing and developing styles that we now consider to be glamorous. Glamour at this point had shed its meaning of suspicion and became something desirable. Glamour is a constructed veil. It is something we drape over ourselves to create an illusion. Glamour is powerful because it is fabricated beauty. It is the way in which we choose the world to see us. But understand that glamour needs distance to work. If you watch the magician's hands too closely, you will spoil the trick. But it's unkind to call glamour specifically a trick, but it's not inaccurate either. On a person, glamour is a series of reference points that form its illusory quality. We perceive red lipstick and hair cascading over one shoulder as glamorous because we understand that it's referencing something collectively we have all decided is glamorous. An easier way to think about this are popular sex symbols like Marilyn Monroe, Jane Mansfield, and Jessica Rabbit. Glamour is silk. Glamour is elegance. It's not hard to get glamour right, but since glamour is a series of reference points, it is a creation instead of a state of being. You have to get it in the right order to be seen as glamorous rather than pretty, polished, or chic. You don't stumble into glamour. It is created. You can call glamour a performance if you wish. It is equally as accurate to call it an accomplishment. Because glamour relies upon references and images, with just a little bit of thought and creativity, anyone can conjure glamour magic. And unlike fashion, glamour never goes out of style. Anyone can be glamorous. You can be bald and glamorous, short and glamorous, nerdy and glamorous. You can be any gender and glamorous. But perhaps most important is that you can be old and glamorous. In fact, age helps. But understand that children are never glamorous because they are naive. Glamour is adult. Glamour's illusion does not make older people look younger. In fact, it makes them look exactly their age unapologetically. Glamour can channel the things that we may attribute to youth, such as sex appeal, flirtation, vitality, but it also requires things that come more easily with age, like mystery and a past. Think of the trappings of adult femininity for young girls when they are playing. They don't reach for bras and sanitary pads. They reach for high heels and lipstick, because those are the two most glamorous things that create an illusion. You're changing your height and you're accentuating your lips. A 5-year-old knows that glamour comes to adulthood, but is not yet hers to assume. There's a very delicate art behind leaving something behind the veil or keeping the cards close to your chest. Glamour is achieved by finding a comfortable confidence in your own skin. In order to achieve this confidence, we must look inwards and listen to ourselves with intent, learn from those around us, and ultimately find an unwavering self-awareness. This is something that has nothing to do with social media, celebrity, or even age. It's also important to remember that humility is an alluring and magnetic quality, especially in the 21st century when we're surrounded by thirsty oversharers. Glamour is not about money or objects. You cannot buy glamour. You can only buy hope to learn it and inhabit it. A new motto for the new age is simply share less and exude more. One thing that ancient witches could all agree upon is that the success of glamour magic depends on the personal allure or magnetism of the witch performing it. This includes charisma. Charisma comes from the Greek word meaning grace of the gods. It is a mysterious quality that some people seem to have just naturally, but really, it can be defined quite simply as life force. We also know this as chi, vitality, prana. It is energy that you invest in your own well-being, health, and balance. When you do all of these things, the stronger your magic will be. Glamour is about trusting the path. It's about saying to yourself every morning that I am worth it, even if you don't feel particularly well or beautiful. I'm going to teach you a glamour magic spell. Glamour is part of a frequency, just like everything else in the universe. If you want to tap into that frequency, you have to bring that frequency around you. You can do this by having a fancy drink or exploring deep ties to the references that you will be making towards your glamour. This is always the first step when creating glamour magic is frequency. Let's start by taking a deep breath and visualize tuning a radio. You're going to tune it, sometimes you'll get static, but eventually you're going to hit a very clear channel. Get this frequency of glamour, your perception of it and your understanding as clear as possible. Do this daily and do it often. Breathe in the glamour and release the insecurity. By tapping into this frequency, you are becoming a heightened version of yourself, stepping into a character, if you will. The finishing touch is by adding mystical qualities to our tools. Now, these tools can do many things. They can make us feel empowered, they can make us feel protected, or at one with our magical selves. Traditionally, glamours are placed onto objects such as jewelry or in the ritual art of dressing and preparing yourself. This ritual is going to have a profound effect on how we approach the world around us. And more importantly, understanding that neglecting it can equally create a powerful result where we are dragged into the abyss of low vibrations and self-deprecation. We're going to infuse our lipstick with intention. We're going to bring this very mundane object into a magical tool. This way, every time you put on this lipstick, you are blessing yourself and creating alchemy for whatever intention you desire. When you take the time to pull your own power back into yourself, or in this case, a lipstick, you are claiming your self-worth. You are casting a spell that creates a ripple effect in the world around you by claiming your confidence and infusing this spell and magic into your daily life in an ordinary way. For this spell, I'm going to be using the color red. Red is a very powerful energy connected to our root chakra. Red is security, red is sensual, red is demanding, and red is boss. We also know that red is glamorous. When we bless this lipstick, we find a way to help us speak our truth, and we're creating an energetic battle cry and a boundary that allows us to stand more firmly in our own majesty, strength, beauty, authority, and of course, glamour. You can perform this spell whenever you need to, although it would be best on a new or full moon and on a Friday. Why? Friday is ruled by the planet Venus. This planet is of love, sex, and beauty. The first thing you're going to do is create a beauty altar in the place that you do your ritualistic beauty routine. This can be on your vanity or it can be in your bathroom. The point here is to create a space that allows you to channel and focus your intention into your normal beauty routines. You can use crystals, photos of women you admire, of course your makeup tools, and pictures of icons of that reference point that you want to pull. You want to feel peaceful in this space. You may light some candles if you like. Incense, I recommend jasmine if you can. Before you perform your ritual, of course, you want to connect to your heart. The heart chakra is going to be the energy that we are using here. Get creative. Let this altar unfold naturally. And whatever you're going to bless or consecrate, in this case, you're using a lipstick, put it in the middle. What you're going to do is after you open a sacred and protected space, take your lipstick and whatever crystal you're using, in this case it's rose quartz, and I want you to rub them together, creating a friction and heat between your hands. Do this until your hands get very, very warm. And then I want you to take your lipstick, put it between both your hands, however you want, and say your intention. For example, with this lipstick, I speak my truth clearly, powerfully, and unapologetically. I stand in the fullest expression of myself. Repeat this 3 times and imagine that warm energy you just created going into the lipstick, creating an aura around it. I'm going to use the color pink. Once you have fused this lipstick with your intention, you can do whatever you want with it. You can use it right then and put it on. You can take it, place it on a crystal, and put it on your altar. There are many ways to do this. Similarly, with your tools, if you want to consecrate these tools just like we would any other magical working, you're going to repeat this process, creating a sacred space. You can call in whomever you would like to work with. I have seen lots of different websites online saying to invoke Aphrodite. Remember, be very careful if you are working with the deity that you have never spoken to before. You don't need that energy. You can bring this all within yourself. Some people like to bless their tools, their makeup tools, with cleansing rose water. So when they clean their brushes, they then put rose water, sometimes infused with rose quartz, to clean them. They believe that that energy is being soaked up onto the brushes and will be placed on your face. I have also done glamour magic or beauty magic to remove pimples. Similarly, it's about finding rocks, crystals that you can place into your solution, and you are focusing your intention on that object. In that case, when I did a pimple remover, I asked that my skin be clear as my heart and clear as my mind. And then I put it on my altar for like 3 days. You can also do another spell where you take rose petals and you rub them on every acne spot that you have. You put them into a solution that you will be using, and another rose quartz. You shake it up and you shake for 3 days while infusing your intention of clear skin. There are so many ways to create glamour magic, And all you need to do is have that self-confidence and the understanding of your intention. Knowing how to build spells comes from knowing your color magic, your crystals, your herb usage, but most importantly, knowing that magic is created within yourself. I hope you enjoyed this lesson on Glamour Magick. If you have any questions, you're more than welcome to drop them into the Discord chat. And I will see you next time. Until then, stay magical.